Hi guys, Chef Joe here. This video is a little bit different style, but it's our first instructional only video. I had to reshoot some of it, so that's why this intro is a little bit broken up. One of the very first things I ever learned how to cook, other than rice and pasta, was chicken. Alright, my grandmother taught me that very early on in my life, and it's something that it turns out I'm pretty good at. The first time I taught you how to cook chicken was on a live stream. I taught you how to roast a bird. Well, today I'm going to teach you how to cook chicken breast and show you how to make chicken Parmesan very easily and simply without going through all of the extra processes you may be familiar with. Also, just a quick, simple, easy method to produce perfect chicken breast every single time, and people are going to absolutely love. Stick around, you are going to love it. Alright, so we start with three dry brined chicken breasts. Now, we've gone over dry brining before. You can refer to the chicken live stream for that. We're going to get these nice and patted dry and then warm up a very hot carbon steel pan. I'm showing you this in point of view so you can see how I work in a kitchen and how quick and easy this is. This is all in real time. Remember that, always. So once this pan gets a little bit hot, we're going to throw in our cooking oil, which is about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and we're going to get that up until it starts to get nice, light wisps of smoke. That's a good way to know that it is nice and hot, and you can throw your protein in. The biggest mistake you can make is throwing your protein into a pan that is not properly heated. So in a couple of seconds here, you're going to start seeing those wisps of smoke, and there we go. Okay, so you can see that shimmer in the oil and those little wisps of smoke. Now I'm going to temp this here so you can see how hot this actually is. By using an infrared thermometer, it's a good tool, 437, I missed that one there, 327, it's 458 degrees, so that on the surface, which means we can throw in our protein. So there we go, one, lay it away, always try to lay away from the fat so you don't splash it onto yourself. And then we can get all three into this. This is a 12-inch carbon steel pan. Okay, so you can see that it's getting nice and seared, and we're all good to go. Now we're going to jump. Okay, it's about 3.5 minutes later. We've been letting it sear on that side, but we haven't changed the camera angle because I want you to see what this looks like. Okay, we're ready to flip. Okay, you can see how you got those little nice crust on the edges there, and we're not going to sear it really all the way on this other side because we have more cooking to do, and we don't want to cook it too long in the pan. The biggest mistake that everyone in the world makes with chicken is overcooking it, so we are not going to do that. We're going to pull it right now and let it rest while we select 2 breasts for Parmesan and 1 that we're going to finish up just pan seared. Okay, so I think I like these 2 on the left here for our chicken Parmesan. They're nice and meaty. And I'm going to put these on some parchment paper. Parchment paper helps keep some moisture in as well. It's another trick. If you want to use something that's oven and heat proof, use parchment. Try not to use aluminum foil. We're going to cover it with a little bit of marinara sauce here. To get the marinara sauce recipe, please refer to the very first video on this channel. So put that right on top there, and then we're going to cover that with some cheese. Now, the biggest mistake that people make a chicken Parmesan is using flavorless cheese, like part skim whole milk mozzarella, which actually needs a lot of help. So what we're going to do, this is some smoked provolone. Okay, so a little bit of smoked provolone right on top of there. Nice thin slices so it melts evenly. And we're just going to throw this into a really hot convection oven, preheated to 450 degrees. So right in there in that basket with that parchment, close our convection oven door, and voila. Now it says air fry, but it's just a really hot convection oven. Okay, back to our chicken breast that has been resting here on this paper towel. You can see the oil coming off. You see the bottom there? It's not all the way cooked through. You can still see the pink, but we have a nice little bit of sear. So we're going to finish this chicken breast now. Now, this is the secret. This is something that I do in every kitchen, and people have told me is absolute witchcraft, but I am telling you this today. So back into just a lukewarm pan, and what we are going to do is put the spurs to this, get it nice and hot, but this chicken is going to heat with the pan, and then we are going to dome it with a lid. Metal lid, glass lid, doesn't matter. Now what's going to happen is this chicken is then going to steam. Okay, it's going to steam roast. As soon as you start seeing the bubbles here in the oil, because it's going to start spitting, kill the heat. Okay? Turn the heat off. You're going to get some steam there, but you see how it's off. Now it's going to bubble, and it's going to spit a little bit, but that's why we cover it. Okay, see that? That's what I'm talking about. That's why we cover the chicken, so we don't get any spatter and you don't burn yourself. All right. But as soon as that steam starts to dissipate, okay, you'll see it here in a second. You'll get a nice little ring here. You're going to see this nice little cloud of, well, flavor, basically, around this chicken breast. And we're going to remove this from the heat, okay, once it calms down a little bit so we can touch it so it doesn't go all over the place. And we're just going to push that off of the heated burner. Once we do that, all we have to do is let that chicken rest and finish cooking in that pan that has all of that residual heat and steam in it. Sometimes you have to add extra moisture, and the biggest mistake people make with chicken is not doing something like this. So now we're going to pull it, and voila, you can see it's still cooking, okay? But it's not overly intense. It's just cooking it all the way through. It's just finishing it low and slow. Starting it high, finishing it low and slow, but we have a nice crispy bottom on there. Crispy bottom, excuse me. And I'm going to slice this for you. Just going to let this rest for a little bit, okay? But we don't really have to because it's already been resting in that pan, finishing up. I'm going to slice this on a sort of a wide bias, okay? I've got my 8-inch chef knife there. It's going to a wide bias there. You see like a nice flat, like 45-degree angle. There we go. And that is a perfectly cooked and juicy chicken breast. And that method, I promise you, will produce perfect breast every single time. Look at how juicy that is and how nice and moist and how it's just barely cooked through. It's cooked, okay? That is 160 degrees. It is 100% cooked all the way through. But it is absolutely delectable and delicious and perfect, and it keeps incredibly well, too. All right, back to our hot convection oven. We're going to pull our chicken Parmesan. We can see our provolone's gotten nice and crispy, got a little brown spots. Now we're going to put on the namesake Parmigiano Reggiano with a blend of Pecorino Romano cheese. Now the Pecorino gives it a little bit of a bite. I like that. You don't necessarily have to use that, but put it on here, throw it back into our convection oven to melt some of that, get a nice little crust on it because the Parmesan gets a nice nutty brown flavor and almost like a nutmeg flavor to it, which is beautiful and tasty. So right back in there, and we're going to finish that off, and now it's going to be time to pull it. All right, so that's about total cook time of about 9 minutes. Yeah, that looks delicious. All right, let's go and wrap this thing up. Hey everybody, I hope you learned something tonight and really enjoyed this. I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, True Classic Tees. You know that I wear their products all the time, and I absolutely love them, and it's been great being able to work with them over the past year. So pick up some of their stuff. My link is in the description. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment and let me know anything you need to know, or let me know on Twitter or any of the other social outlets where you want to get in touch with me. All right, have a good night.